Hi, it's Carol Doherty. Let's talk about how to share your expertise with others and become seen as an expert in your field. As a woman in STEM, I often found it hard to get people to listen to me, to recognize that I knew what I was talking about, and to really hear what I was saying. It's frustrating. So I started working on sharing what I knew. And before I knew it, I was seen as an expert. I was the go-to person. There was one day, right after I walked in, sat down at my desk, my phone rang. It was somebody in a different factory, different division from Georgia calling me, asking me a question because he knew I would know and I could help him. That particular day ended with a call from somebody in Vancouver who needed help and knew I could help him. So he knew I knew the answer. And in the middle of the day, I got calls from a couple other factories where people were looking for information. They knew I knew it. So here's the interesting thing. If you share your information and you're willing to help others learn and grow, you're going to get seen as an expert because you're sharing what you know. You're proving you know what you're talking about because you're sharing it. And if you become accessible and helpful and people feel comfortable coming to you, people are going to recognize that, hey, you're somebody who can help others. If you work on being that kind of aloof and arrogant guru who can't be bothered to help somebody because they're beneath you. I've worked with a few of those. And they're not trusted as an expert. They're not somebody people trust. People don't go to them unless they have to because they're kind of jerks. So if you become that accessible resource who shares what you know, shares your expertise, help other people grow, you're going to be seen as the go-to person, as an expert. And the more you expand your range of knowledge and the things you do, the more opportunities will open up for you. So I'm going to share with you my top tip for this. And it is really about just putting yourself out there, sharing what you know. That's how you become an expert. Here are 3 great ways to get started. The first one is to walk somebody through your thought process. I was a process engineer and I was supporting factory departments. The key department I supported worked 2 shifts, 6 a.m. to 11 at night. I was the only person in my role. I didn't want to have to answer calls at 6 in the morning and at 11 o'clock at night because there was nobody else. It was self-defense on my part. And honestly, I hated it when I'd walk into the factory at 7:15, and somebody from the department was sitting there waiting for me to come through the employee entrance because they were down and they needed help now. Nothing like being behind the 8 ball than starting off your day with people looking for you because their production department's been down for an hour and a half. What I would do is when I'd go out there and be troubleshooting their problem, I would be walking somebody from their department through my process, explaining what I was looking at, what I was looking for, how I could tell if something was right or wrong, and just walking it through. And at one point, we'd made a whole bunch of changes to the equipment, and I was learning it as we went. I was figuring out, okay, what is it doing now? So I was walking people through it. And that then lessened the burden on me, and because now they had people on their team that could figure stuff out and minimize the downtime and the impact of the factory. Which that's why I was doing it, was minimize the downtime. By doing that and doing it well, that was the very first time I was told, you're really good at coaching others. And I didn't think of it that way. But then I started being seen as somebody who would help, could help, and knew what she was talking about. And that reputation grew. You're starting off kind of small, 1-on-1, 1-on-2 or 3, but that word spreads fast. And that will help you. And it's an easy way to share what you know. You're just talking to somebody. You're walking them through what you do when you're doing it. And they're going to learn. They're going to respect you. Easy way to share what you know. A second way that I found really helpful was getting involved in special projects. And this is a great way to share your expertise with others within your organization. Or if you're in a professional society, get involved in a committee. How it worked for me was I would join these multidiscipline teams trying to solve a problem. Rarely was it directly my area, but we would be working on something that the company as a whole was facing. One of the projects was a multidiscipline team looking at how do we handle knowledge transfer, because there was going to be such a high rate of retirements coming. They were expecting us to lose something like 40% of our workforce in the next 6 years. That's a little scary, and that was through retirement. So you're talking thousands of years of experience walking out the door. I ended up on that team as one of the engineering representatives, and I got to talk about things from my perspective in my role in the company and how I supported the factory and what the risk was to me in my support if all of this knowledge walked out before we did some sort of data dump from all these brilliant people. That got me so much visibility, and so people started saying, oh wow, she knew what she's talking about. And it was a way for me to share what I knew from a unique perspective. So ask around, ask your boss, keep your ears open for what might be going on. This particular project, I think somebody from HR had asked me, hey Carol, would you be willing? Oh, sure, why not? And then the third way is to volunteer to be a trainer. Be a subject matter expert trainer. And I know that sounds crazy and it sounds scary and I don't want to be a trainer. It's really not that bad. If your company has a HR team that has people who deal with training, they're going to walk you through it. They're going to help you. But they're always looking for people who are willing to share their knowledge. So volunteer. Speak up. This can happen in your professional society as well. Offer to be a trainer. And it doesn't have to be big, fancy, formal program. Doesn't have to be anything like that. You can start really simple. Are there some tips or tricks in software that your organization uses that you've figured out that makes your life easier? If you have, and you've got new people in your group or you see other people in your team struggling, volunteer in a team meeting to share your best practices. Hey, I'd like to share some tips that I've learned on using the software, and share it. And then maybe share it to a bigger group or to another department. Whatever. You can do those kind of things. That's an easy way to do it. Share your tips and tricks. Easy enough. Maybe it's make a short video, kind of like what I'm doing right now. Make a short video and say, hey, here's what I know. Here's some tips and tricks I've learned. You can also volunteer to teach a process that you're really familiar with, helping people understand how your team does things or how your process fits into the bigger picture. I did some of those as part of onboarding new employees. Hey, here's what we're doing and here's how that could help you, or here's how it impacts you. And another great way is, again, along those same lines, is do an intro to your department. Maybe you're in a specialized, isolated or semi-isolated group and people don't really understand what you do, or they want to know more about what you do. Create a short 30-minute lunch and learn about, hey, welcome to whatever your group is. I've seen this done in some groups of virtual design coordination, VDC groups, and they would do a little lunch and learn, and they talk about, okay, you're probably wondering, what is VDC? Well, here's what we do, and here's how it helps our projects. Here's what we bring to the table. Here's what we bring to the project. Cool. It was a short lunch and learn, 30 minutes. Hey, look at what we do. Oh, we do cool stuff. Come see us. Easy way to share what you know. Here are my 3 favorite tips to get started. First, walk people through your thought process when they come to you with a question. Show them how you do what you do. The second is to get involved in a special project. Join a team. Do something with a professional society. Volunteer to help in an area outside of what you do, but bring your perspective to that table. Then the third way is to volunteer to be a subject matter expert trainer. teach people about what you do, what you know, and help them get better. If you do that, it's starting very small, but it can become a very big thing. And it has that ripple effect. Like if you throw a rock into a lake, you'll see it makes a little splash and then you see it ripple out. That's what this will do. If you share what you know, you'll be seen as somebody who knows what she's doing. That builds your credibility. It helps you be seen as an expert, and it makes it even easier to share your expertise with others. If you found this at all helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or check me out on Instagram at Carol S. Doherty for more tips and tricks and strategies to help you grow your career.